Hello and welcome to Loosening Captives channel, where we discuss all things having to do with deliverance and inner healing. Today's topic is going to be, can Christians be indwelled with demons? I know that this is a touchy subject, but I must say that this idea that Christians cannot be indwelled with demons is a North American belief and is propagated by famous preachers, many of whom have never done a single deliverance. And this belief cannot be proven scripturally, or, in my personal humble opinion, it also contradicts this notion, speaking from my own personal experience. Christians can be indwelled by demons, and it is usually more than one. Those who oppose this notion argue that the Holy Spirit cannot dwell with demons, and they use 2 Corinthians 6, verse 14 through 18 as support. However, this scripture doesn't say that they cannot dwell together, but they should not dwell together. There's a difference there. What many believers fail to realize is that we are spirit, soul, and body, and that our spirit is the only part that gets regenerated at the new birth, and that's where the Holy Spirit lives. Demons, however, inhabit the other two unregenerated parts and unsubmitted to Christ's parts, and that would be the soul and the body. This is why the Bible says that we must renew our mind daily with the Word of God and crucify our flesh daily. Sanctification is the process through which this is accomplished. The Holy Spirit lives in our spirit and demons in our soul and body, so they do not dwell together. Excuse me. Christians can have demons for various reasons, but one of the main reasons is that they were born with them due to generational iniquities. It's not just the color of your eyes that you inherit from your ancestors. People come to Christ, but their demons remain in them. If the preacher or the church teaches that Christians cannot have demons, many may suffer for years like I did before they start on a path towards deliverance and inner healing. And demons do not automatically leave at the new birth. They have to be cast out. In many instances in the Bible, we see Jesus and his disciples casting out demons out of people, and their sicknesses leave them. For example, in Acts 16, verse 18, Luke 11, verse 14, Matthew 8, 16, and Mark 1, 39. It is important to know that anywhere there is or has been brokenness, trauma, rebellion, unconfessed sin, lack of submission to Christ, demons have an open door and a legal right to be there. Confession and renouncing of sins is a must if you hope to get rid of the demons. Coming into the courts of heaven to look at your guest registry is a sure way to find out who is invading you, so that you can take appropriate action to cast them out. Now, to find out more about the courts of heaven, you can go to the shop section in my website, looseningcaptivesblog.com. I'll post it underneath this video as well. When Jesus referred to the children's bread in Matthew 15:26, it was in the context of deliverance from demons that was tormenting the daughter of the Syrophoenician woman. If deliverance from demons is for his children, that means that they can and do have demons inside and out. Christ did not specify. Because many do not get rid of these invaders, they suffer with illnesses, especially mysterious illnesses, erratic behaviors, strange body sensations, night paralysis, stagnation, lack of marriage, what they call misfortunes, so suicidal thoughts, perversions, addictions, defeat, futility, no breakthroughs, etc. These Christians think that is, quote, just them, something they must overcome, when they could very likely be demons indwelling them. I pray that the church at large awakens to this reality once and for all and starts doing what Jesus commanded in Matthew 10:8, casting out demons and dealing with the legal matters in the courts of heaven first. That is the best way to start. If you are watching this video but you're not sure that you are saved or born again, if the Lord Jesus Christ is not your Lord and Savior and you want to receive Him right now into your life and your heart, pray this prayer of faith out loud. Lord Jesus Christ, I ask you to forgive me of my sins. Wash them away with your blood that you shed on Calvary's cross to pay the penalty that I deserve so that I could be saved. I turn away from my sins and I stop trusting my own futile works to get me to heaven. I believe that you are the Son of God, and right now I receive you into my heart and life as my Lord and Savior. If you prayed this prayer, welcome to the family of God. Start reading the Bible and pray that the Lord will lead you to a good church where you can grow in the things of God. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your comments, likes, and subscription to my channel. And I'll see you in our next video. Goodbye.